This is based on a true story. It's 1970 in Istanbul, Turkey. A young American named Billy is standing in a hotel room, taping blocks of hashish all over his body. He's a first-time drug courier, and his plan is simple. Board a flight home to the United States with his girlfriend Susan and walk the drugs straight through the airport. But he's a rookie, and it shows. His nerves are wrecked, so he ducks into the restroom to pull himself together before heading for the checkpoint. At security, Billy is sweating through his shirt, but somehow he gets lucky. The officers wave him through, and he's put into a car headed out to the plane. Then the car pulls up, and Billy's stomach drops. There are soldiers everywhere, running a second search right at the aircraft. He panics and starts ripping the packages off his body. An officer climbs into the car and almost catches him mid-motion, and Billy covers by claiming he was just picking up a dropped passport. They don't buy it. They pull him out of the car, search him properly, and find everything. Just like that, Billy is arrested by the Turkish police. At the station, his belongings are torn apart while they hunt for every hidden package. The commander shows up and invites reporters to photograph the whole thing, and Billy is stripped down and searched again. Then an American agent named Tex arrives. Billy is cornered, and Tex pressures him to give up his supplier, promising that cooperation might mean a lighter sentence. Billy folds. He says he bought the hashish from a taxi driver near a toy shop by the marketplace. So they drive him back to the exact spot and push him to point out the dealer. Instead, Billy makes a run for it, trying to disappear into the crowd. It doesn't work. Tex chases him down and puts a pistol against his head, and Billy is hauled off to one of the harshest prisons in Turkey. That's where this story really starts. This is Midnight Express.
The movie is Midnight Express.
The moment Billy arrives, they shave his head and throw him in a cell. Minutes later, the inmate next door calls out to him and says his cell door isn't actually locked. He tells Billy to go down the hallway and grab a blanket for the two of them. It's a trap. Another inmate catches Billy with the blanket and beats him to the floor. The guards drag him away blindfolded, hands tied, down into an underground row of cells. That's where Billy meets the head guard, a man named Hamido, who is there for one reason only: to beat him. Billy wakes up later and tries to stand, but his legs give out. Two inmates catch him, an American named Jimmy and a Swede named Eric. They tell him he's been unconscious for 2 days. Out in the yard, they walk him through how this place actually works. Billy spots the inmate who jumped him over the blanket. His name is Rifki, and Billy learns fast that Rifki is a snitch and a con man who begs the other prisoners for donations by claiming he's a war veteran. Then Jimmy and Eric give him the bad news. Drug charges in Turkey carry enormous sentences. Jimmy stole 2 chandeliers and he's already been in here a year and a half. Eric was caught as a courier with 100 grams on him, and he got 12 years. Billy was caught with 2 kilos, which means his sentence could be far worse than that. Eric introduces him to a British inmate named Max, who has been locked up in here for 7 years and knows a lawyer who might help. The lawyer's name is Yezel, and he once got a major French mafia figure released after being caught with 200 kilos of drugs. But Max is honest with him. The only real way anyone gets out of this place is by catching the Midnight Express. That's their slang for escaping. The next day, Billy's father visits. He's relieved to see his son alive and devastated by what he's gotten himself into. The American consular agent is there too, along with Yezel, ready to take Billy into court. At trial, Billy sits there understanding nothing, because none of it is in English. After a long back and forth, the judge hands down a sentence of 4 years and 2 months. His father thinks even that is far too harsh. He promises to appeal and to fight to get Billy transferred back to the United States to serve out his time. A year passes inside those walls. The days blur together. During a volleyball game in the yard, Jimmy spikes the ball into another inmate's face, and it turns into a brawl. That's the level of tension in this place all the time. By now, Billy and Max are close, and they both hate Rifki, who acts more like a gangster than a prisoner. Rifki even targets a stray cat that Billy and Max had adopted, chasing it off and threatening it. Then one day they find the cat hanging dead. Rifki killed it as a joke. It's now 1972. Yezel comes back to the prison with an offer. He says he can bribe the right officials and make Billy's criminal record disappear completely. The catch is that it would cost a fortune, and Billy doesn't have that kind of money, so he barely takes the offer seriously. Meanwhile, Jimmy has been busy. He's gotten his hands on a blueprint of the prison, slipped to him by an architect at the hospital, and he's been quietly planning his own escape. Jimmy lays it out. There are 2 ways out: over the rooftop or underground. According to the blueprint, Beneath the prison, there are catacombs, ancient burial tunnels used by early Christians. His plan is to break through a wall in the bathhouse and dig down until he hits that tunnel. The next day, Jimmy inspects the wall, and it's almost too easy. Water has been seeping through the bricks for years, and the stone is soft and crumbling. Max isn't convinced. He argues that the tunnel just leads into room 13, which gets them nowhere. Jimmy tries to pull Billy in instead, but Billy turns him down. He only has 20 months left. Why risk everything now? Frustrated, Jimmy says he'll go alone, and he'll take the rooftop. A few days later, screaming echoes through the halls. The guards have Jimmy pinned down and they're beating him half to death. He was caught mid-escape, and he's hurt so badly he has to be taken to the hospital. By 1974, Eric has finished his sentence and walks out a free man. Billy has 53 days left, and Jimmy, healed up from his beating, is back inside. Jimmy still hasn't let go of the idea of breaking out, but while they're washing up one day, a guard hands Billy a letter, and the news in it destroys him. The prosecutor rejected his original sentence, arguing that 4 years wasn't nearly enough for a drug smuggler. The case went to a higher court, and out of 35 judges, 28 of them voted to give Billy a life sentence. He's dragged back into court to be retried, 50 days from freedom, and this time Billy finally snaps. He stands up and unloads on the entire Turkish justice system in open court. He's already served 4 years. He was 2 months from walking out, and now they want to bury him for life. It backfires completely. The judge responds by adding 30 more years to his sentence for the outburst. After that, Billy makes his decision. He's going with Jimmy and Max, and they're taking the tunnel. The three of them start searching the bathhouse for the wall that connects to the catacombs. Billy finds it, chips away at the soft stone, and finally works the wall open. The tunnel is right there. Max keeps watch on Rifki, who's asleep and snoring, making sure he doesn't catch on and report them. It's already late at night, so they decide not to rush. They'll come back tomorrow, fully prepared. The next day they go back in. But when they reach the passage, it's blocked and completely flooded with water. Rather than take a stupid risk, they back off and decide to give it one more day. That's the day it all falls apart. Rifki finds the loose stone in the wall and immediately runs to the head guard. The guards come down to inspect it, and since Jimmy was already caught escaping once, he's the obvious suspect. They beat him savagely all over again. Max wants to cut Rifki's throat and be done with him. But Billy has a better idea. Rifki would rather die than lose the money he's been squeezing out of the other inmates for years. And Max knows exactly where he keeps it, inside his radio. Not long after, Rifki opens up his radio and finds it empty. Every bill is gone. The guards, tipped off by Billy and Max, tear his cell apart looking for the cash. They find shredded money stuffed in his teapot and the rest of it burned in the kitchen. The whole prison cheers watching Rifki lose everything, but there's a price for that. The head guard brings in his entire squad and searches every prisoner in the block. They find hashish hidden in Rifki's clothes, and Rifki immediately pins it on Max. The guards drag Max away. Billy realizes Rifki set the whole thing up, and something inside him breaks. He goes after Rifki and beats him without stopping. And when the rage takes over completely, he does something horrifying. He bites down on Rifki's tongue and tears it out of his mouth. For that, Billy is thrown into solitary for 7 months. By 1975, Billy has been moved into the prison ward for inmates who have lost their minds. Max is in there too, wandering the halls, being chased around by Hamido. Billy's hair is long and matted, his eyes are empty, and he barely seems to be there anymore. Then Susan comes to visit. She's shocked at what's left of him. Billy still cares about her, but he's so far gone mentally that he can barely hold himself together. Susan has brought family photos, and behind the last one is a photo of Billy's friend in Greece. Tucked behind that photo is something his father sent in secretly. Money, enough to buy his way out. Billy goes to say goodbye to Max, who is in even worse shape than he is, and begs him to stay alive, promising to come back for him once he's out. Then he goes to Hamido and pays him a bribe to be transferred to the sanatorium, the same lightly guarded ward Jimmy was sent to after his beating. It's the one place with almost no supervision, but Hamido doesn't take him to the sanatorium. He leads Billy into an empty room, locks the door, and starts undressing. It's clear what he intends to do. Billy shoves him back hard. Hamido's head slams into an iron bar and he goes down, out cold. Billy grabs the guard's pistol and points it at him, but he can't pull the trigger. Instead, he strips the uniform off Hamido's body and puts it on. Then he walks out. That's it. That's the escape. No tunnel, no rooftop, no catacombs. After all the plans, the blueprints, the beatings, and the years, Billy walks out of the prison dressed as a guard, straight through the front door in plain sight. He makes it across the border to freedom, and the story is real. The film closes with the actual record of Billy Hayes, the man whose escape from Turkey inspired the entire thing. So the moral of the story is, spending 4 years tunneling through catacombs to escape when the front door was unlocked the whole time. Classic.